Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Namaste friends. This video is to cater to some recent request for people to have the North Indian style of chart representation. And since we have done previously this North representation, but mostly it was for equal house division. So I thought I would take this opportunity to both demonstrate the North Indian style along with our South Indian general style of representation. Taking up the Sripati Bhava division this time. Because Sripati Bhava division is what is generally used by traditional Parashara system usage. So this is of course common knowledge to most of us, and therefore this video is mainly to cater to students who want to learn what Sripati division is. So we begin here. As you see, you can do this in Jagannathavara. Jagannathavara, if I take a specific example, let us see in house divisions. You can choose the Sripati. When you right click here, you can choose the Sripati house division here. Whereas the Placidus is something different, with the Krishnamurti Paddhati is different. And you have to choose the ascendant to be the middle of the house. So these are the choices for Sripati. Yeah, and these are multiple choices. Of course, you can choose Sripati and still maybe do the first house to be the starting position, which is normally not done. So in Sripati, you choose Sripati here, and the traditional system, it is the middle of the ascendant is the middle. So each cusp is the middle of the bhava. So that is the traditional choice. Whereas in Krishnamurti, it is the other way. It is, you have to choose Krishnamurti here, and you have to choose the start of the first bhava to be the house division here. So that is easily doable in Jagannathavara. Suppose if you want it in Excel, I have created just, you have to ensure that you give the same INAMSA in both systems. And you give the name of the person. This column is just a reference column for name of the people and all that. And this is as usual, you have given the latitude, longitude, till this you have to give. And I have introduced these bhavas, calling it cusp, because bhava could be a misleading terminology here, because in Krishnamurti, which I normally use, bhava 1 represents the first cusp itself, the starting point of the cusp. Here the denotation is different, because by cusp, the cuspal point is got from the Swiss ephemeris DLL, the code inside the Swiss ephemeris. We get the cusp 1 and we get the cusp 10. So once we get the cusp 1 and the MC, which is the cusp 10, these two are got from the VBA code. To get the cusp 7, what we do, it is just opposite the cusp 1. So you just add 180 degrees to cusp 1, and there you have the cusp 7. Similarly, if you add 180 degrees to the cusp 10, you immediately get the cusp 4. So cusp 4 is just 180 degrees to the cusp 10. So you get now 4 house cusps. Now to get the in-between cusps, that is what the challenge is, not exactly a challenge. What you do is equally divide them. Equally divide the difference between these two. Say there are the 3 houses, right? You have the first to second, second to third, and third to fourth. So you equally divide the 3. So you find the minimum angular distance between the 1 and 4 and divide by 3 and add that delta to the cusp 1. You get the cusp 2. To get the cusp 3, similarly same delta you add to cusp 2, you get the cusp 3. So now you have all the 4 cusps here and the 5th cusp here and even the 7th cusp here. To get cusp 5, what you do is, cusp 5 is, since you know 4 and 7, you equally divide 4 and 7 and do the same operation to get 5 and 6. So to get 8 and 9, since you know 7 and 10, you equally divide 7 to 10 and you get 8 and 9. Similarly, you know the Lagna and the 10th. you divide that equally to get the 11th and the 12th. That way you know all the 12 cusps. So here the cusp is the middle portion of a bhava. So we are still to find the bhava positions. These are only the cuspal positions. So here we have, I pull out the name of the person that you are interested in, and this Sripati house division, the cusp is what you have found, and that is pulled from the previous sheet. So if I take the 12th house, this is the 12th house cusp taken from the previous sheet, and this is the middle of the 12th house. So where will the 12th house end? So we have to find where the 12th ends. When the 12th ends, the ascendant begins. So the 12th ends is basically the ascendant itself. So the is the beginning of the ascendant. Okay. It is for the first bhava's beginning is essentially not the ascendant. It is the ascendant is the middle portion of the first bhava. So we have this. You find the middle portion of the what is J15 here. If you have the J15, the 12th cusp and the ascendant cusp, when you get the middle portion, that would be the end portion of the 12th bhava. And the end portion of the 12th bhava is nothing but the beginning portion of the start bhava. So if you see here, that leads to this. So once you get the beginning portion, similarly you get all the end portion just as you got for the 12th. End portion of the 12th bhava is the first bhava is the beginning portion of the second bhava. So that way there is if you take any bhava, the end portion of that bhava would be the beginning portion of the next bhava. So this way you get all the bhava end and beginning, and of course you can get the later the end signs, the cuspal lords. And if you watch carefully, see here I am getting the bhava spans and I am plotting the bhava spans. They are far away from 30 degrees. Some of the bhavas even only for 14, 16 degrees here. And you can see I have made a color coding here, so that the bhavas with the highest are shown here. 4 and 6, 11 and 12 seem to be the same in terms of width here in the span, and 2 and 3 because they are equally distributed, right? So they get equal distribution here. So you originally got the first house and the 7th house, the 10th house and the 4th house. Then in between you divided equally, so you got these two houses. So similarly you got the same year. So that way you find a difference in the span of the various houses. And when you come to representation in the North Indian style, it is very convenient because the North Indian style is very well suited for bhava representation. All these are the 4 kendras in the North Indian style. By kendras we need to know for each of the gragas in which bhava it falls under. So we have to know if we are given a degree, in which slot does it fall under. So that we get a VBA code to get the bhava position given it takes in 2 inputs. It takes in the starting position of all the bhavas and the real position of the planet or whatever entity that you want to find the bhava position for. So you have to give the starting position. In Krishnamurti Paddhati, the starting position would be this cusp, whereas in this Sripati Paddhati, it is the stat of the house. So those are different. So that understanding we need to have. And then collecting for each bhava where the Srifas, if we take 4th bhava, Surya is in the 4th bhava, Mercury is in the 4th bhava. So you collect those two and place it here by this formula. So that way you get the entire representation of the North Indian style. In the South Indian style, you don't go by bhava, you go by the signs. So what all falls under Taurus will be placed in here, what all falls under different signs, you get that placed here. So that way you get both the, of course, doesn't mean that bhava representation are not here, because the ascendant determines what is the first bhava. Okay. So this is one representation, this is another representation, both together we can have, provided we have a clear understanding of what these bhava divisions are all about. I'll give this as a downloadable link, use it, and get to know how these are done and give us feedback on what further you need on these things. Thank you.